Hello, YouTube, and ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Kajaramas, otherwise known as Toneshift. Welcome to Jibber Jabber. Today's guests are Tom117Z, author of Change. Go ahead, say hi.
Hi.
Also, we've got Blank Page, author of Human Nature and Their Very Own Sons.
Heyo.
We also have Hades Shadow 92, a recurring guest here on Jibber Jabber.
Yep.
And Neferata, who just kind of lurks.
Good to be back.
So we weren't able to get in an episode of Jibber Jabber last week because no one fucking showed up. It was just...
I did.
Yes, but...
I had work, man.
I know, but it was just...
I had a legitimate reason.
Yes, I know, and I'm not saying you guys didn't. But the fact that only one other person showed up kind of meant it would have just been an awkward silence for an hour, more or less, because, like, we'd try to start up a conversation, it would go for 3 or 4 sentences, and then we'd both be silent for about 2 minutes trying to think of something else to do.
Oh, no, I'm sure you two could have kept jabbering on for a bit.
I mean, not really. we can only really keep jabbering when it's just the two of us if we have something we're doing, or something specific we wanted to talk about beforehand, like
Usually idiocy related.
yeah, the idiocy.
Like,
verse
So
stuff.
you guys can just find another little deal to make in the Idiocyverse.
I mean, it's a series we've enjoyed working on immensely. I can say that with utmost certainty. It is so much fun to work on.
And so stupid. Very.
Switch
I believe they're currently on equal idiocy stories.
I still haven't done a reading of Switcheroo, but that's probably going to take a good long while before I decide to invest in doing that.
I'd say don't you need to finish Little Glimpses first?
Yes, I do.
And the ones you returned from Stone. And only a blind filly. I still want to see that update.
Well, I mean, no, as far as my readings
Oh,
go.
shit, you're talking about reading. I was
As
talking
far as readings, as far as his writing, yes, he still needs to finish the Fiend
Yeah.
trilogy.
as I was.
I did put up a new chapter of the third story of the Fiend's trilogy, though, in case Hades was not aware. You should get caught up on that, by the way.
Hey, I finished the second story. I've been a good
Hint,
boy.
nudge, nudge.
And I am an utter bastard. Yes,
Yes, you are.
I know.
Yes, you are.
I know.
I'm glad you know.
Yeah, it means I can capitalize on that. You gave me the title. Now I have to live up to it.
Oh, you have.
Tom, why are you howling like a
don't worry.
moose?
I was groaning.
He's overcome by grief by the monster he's created. God save us all.
Uh,
Not the fact that I have to compete and try and keep up, so enjoy that.
So, before we sat down to record this, like a
Lucky won't be the last.
All right, so earlier today, before like a few hours before we sat down to record this, we were talking about just all sorts of general stuff, and we came up with, or at least I came up with, what I thought would be an interesting topic to start this Jibber Jabber off with. And what?
You're kind of a little robotic there.
Well, I mean,
Just a little bit.
well, maybe for you guys, but not for me. Hold on, let me adjust server settings a little bit. Apologies to anyone listening if there are technical difficulties with the audio. That is probably somewhat beyond my control. I will... Discord!
On a really sweet electro disco jam there for a minute there. Things about to get funky.
Yeah.
You ever thought about being a DJ?
No.
DJ Tone Shift.
I mean, it actually sounds like kind of a neat title, but no thank you. Tone Shift is more for like, going from an ominous and evil voice to just a happy-go-lucky Pinkie Pie. Just like
DJ Tone
whirling.
Shift, now doing death
Wow.
metal.
I guess you never need to do an actual DJ like Vinyl because she's mute.
I mean, in some instances, depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
The only reason she's mute in the show is because they can't get no whacking.
Yeah. Bass cannon! Anyways, Back on topic. As I was saying before I guess I turned into a robot.
Boop boop doop.
Yeah, before I turned into a robot for all of you. Earlier today, before we sat down to record this, we discussed some random stuff on the side in the Discord server and eventually settled on a topic to sort of, or at least I came up with one. I don't know if you all agreed to it or not. I know you all commented on it. It was sharing our drunk stories.
Oh God.
Just to sort of give a bit more context, basically I had the thought that usually people's most interesting and hilarious stories occur when they can't remember them, and usually that happens when they're drunk. And I've been around some of these people, Tom, I'm looking at you, when they were drunk, and well, not around, but within hearing range, and it's something special.
I take it you still have the excerpt from our little discussion when it happened.
Somewhere, probably. I don't think I actually have that saved anymore because my computer underwent a factory reset a couple weeks ago, so. I mean, if you've got a screen cap of it, though, send it my way. I'd love to read it all.
I don't know. I was passed out, remember, after that.
For context, anyone... Tom, do you want to tell this story, or should I, since I have never actually been drunk?
Cards Against Humanity, alcohol, drunk.
I mean, that's the abridged version, so there you go.
That's it in a nutshell, really. I mean,
Alcohol and Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, the part specifically I was thinking of was after I left the game of Cards Against Humanity because it was getting a bit too drunk for my tastes. And then suddenly I get this message, and then I get this message from Tom. That's him trying to say hi, like really long, like hi, and it just came out as like, just like he face slammed his keyboard or something. It started with H, and that's where it started with HI, and that's where the line of coherent thought ended. So, and I knew he was drunk. I'd heard his words turning into slurs before I left the team speak that the Cards Against Humanity was going on in.
I said something. I wrote something else after that. It came out as gibberish. I tried to correct it. It came out as more gibberish, and I just wrote fuck.
To which I replied, Go drunk, Tom. You're home.
Those are words to live by if I ever heard any.
Just go lay down, take a nap.
You missed another one of those conversations Christmas Day. Like, we'd been playing family games. I'd been having vodka and coke for all night. I went upstairs. My computer was still on because I'd been doing something. I messaged Tone. He wasn't there, so then I watched Doctor Who and then passed out mid-show.
What was the message again? Was it something incomprehensible?
Well, it was hi again.
Just a long hi.
Yes.
And then I logged and it's like, hi? Usually I'm the one who gives the weird and awkward hellos.
Well,
like
he said hi
the
next morning when I was up and awake and not drunk anymore. So it was kind of, the magic was gone.
Yeah. Like, I have the weirdest ways of saying hi to people when using text chat. Because you all know that weird thing where people just put in asterisks an action. Like,
How the fuck that was you today.
Yeah. And
You're also like spamming us with 17 messages just to get our attention.
Hey, hi, hello, you, hey, hi, poke, hey, hi, you, hello, hey, poke, hey, hi.
Walked away from my phone for 1 minute, I swear. I come back and it's lit up like a Christmas tree. Oh my goodness.
I am not sorry.
Oh, I know you're not.
Nope.
Anyway, drunk story.
But just before we can get to that, I just want to finish off the thought I had about my weird greetings. As I was saying, how everyone knows about, you put an action in asterisks and it indicates, you're doing a thing. I have this weird habit of saying hi to people while typing in asterisks slaps you with a fish.
I remember this.
I do it to more than just you. And the reason behind it is slapping anything with a fish solves any problem. Someone's not paying attention to you, slap them with a fish. They're paying attention. Anyways.
Not quite any.
What?
Valid
Not
reason.
quite any problem, but it's a very specific problem.
Is there more problems than
I'm
that?
sure as long as you slap with a fish long enough or hard enough or a mixture of both, it'll eventually solve it.
Yeah.
It's like someone with a chicken, and you probably get the same result.
Anyways, drunk
Ooh,
stories.
I like what you think.
Anyways, drunk stories. Who wants to go first?
Oh, I don't think anyone wants to talk about that. What happens when we... I think there's a reason we were...
Let's hear the drunken stories of Blank Page.
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
I told one of mine already. You go first before I continue.
Oh, man.
I
Okay,
want to
so...
point out we're not. We don't do this often. It just happens sometimes, occasionally. Everyone except for Brian.
Yeah. I have drinking alcohol, but I've never gotten to a point of getting drunk because, and I quote,
Drinking alcohol.
Shut up.
Are you sure you haven't been drinking now, Toad?
No, I'm not. Because the thing is, I made it quite clear on my 21st birthday when my brother took me out to go drinking. I told him years in advance when we were negotiating the terms of this trip that if I woke up with a hangover, I had reserved the right, literally years in advance, to clock him in the face as hard as I wanted, and he could not get mad. I reserved that right years in advance. Because like when I was like 16 or so, still in high school, my brother was talking to me like, at some point you're going to turn 21 and when you do, I'm going to take you out drinking. And I said, no, you're fucking not. And then he said, yes, I fucking am. And it went back and forth for like that for like a year, almost literally before he finally said, all right, fine. Set yourself a limit. I don't get drunk. That's going to be a challenge, but all right. And we made it work. On my 21st birthday, all I was a little floppy. I wasn't drunk. I didn't have a buzz or anything. I was just a little loose.
That's a good feeling.
And I will admit, I did actually like the social environment, but I do not like the idea of getting, like, face-blasted drunk. Although I will say this. When there's a little bit of alcohol in my system, I have a tendency to say some profoundly incredible things. Like, when I'm constipated, I don't give a shit.
Irony.
Right?
Guys, give me a minute. I gotta walk away real quick.
You
my
broke him,
gosh.
Tom.
Oh my gosh.
You okay, Blank?
Good night, everybody.
No, come back.
That's it. That's the end of it.
No, come back. We're not done.
You fucking broke him.
We're only 10
We're not
minutes
even
in.
halfway through.
We're not even close to halfway through.
man.
We're barely even 12 minutes in.
I know. Oh,
I know. I'm saying.
Okay.
Give myself a commitment.
Okay, Blank, go ahead. Tell your drunk story. I'll stop interrupting you.
All right. So, speaking of hangovers, I never really had one except for one time, and it was the send-off party before I went down to Texas. Me and my friends all decided to just go bar hopping, and for some ungodly reason, we all decided, yeah, we're just going to take like 6 shots before we go in. And I thought, yeah, let's do that. That's going to be great. So we go over to the first place, and me and my friend decide that we're going to do this fancy special that we always do. It's going to be 2 shots of vodka and chasing it with Jaeger bomb. And we did that probably 5 times in a span of 1 hour. So we're not even like 2 hours into being here, and I have, what would it be, 18 shots inside me. And I honestly barely remember the rest of it. I remember like stumbling around. I danced with somebody pretty well, I guess, because she kept coming back. And we moved to the next place. And I don't even remember walking in through the front door. I just remember being in the restroom, just staring at my face in the mirror. And I'm just thinking, how on earth did I get here? And the next thing I know, we walk out of the place, and it's just blank. I wake up the next day on a stranger's couch, a place that I've never seen before, and a giant dog jumps on me and licks my face, and I freak out. apparently, another one of our friends came by and he decided to let us scratch at his place because we had a Quidditch practice the next day. And let me tell you, I thought I was going to die.
Okay, I see. I have a fun little comment about the person who apparently kept coming back to keep dancing. It wasn't that you were dancing well; it's that she felt sorry for you.
Oh, I appreciate
You were so
it.
drunk, no one else would show up. It was pity dancing.
Yeah.
Well, that's just
Aw.
Gosh.
Sad. Same time, it's hilarious.
Neff speaks.
Ew. Yeah, that was the best and worst experience of my life.
It's funny.
So,
That's for
someone
sure.
else.
There you
Go
go.
on.
I've only gone bar hopping once, and that was my 18th birthday in Amsterdam. My brothers and my stepdad took me there to celebrate it. That was probably the worst I've ever been drunk. If you want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're
I'd
talking
say,
about.
didn't you tell us about this last night?
Well, yeah, well, we haven't told the good people viewing this, so we can let them laugh at the idiot who
Yeah.
you're see.
Oh, please go on.
So, Amsterdam, it's my 18th birthday. We've been planning this for a while because they want to take me bar hopping around Amsterdam, mainly in the red light district where there's women showing their tits off in the windows, which is really quite distracting.
Quite.
Uh, so, I'm not sure how many bars we got through. I remember we started off this one little pub just in the street corner. I had a couple of pints in there. I remember a few pints later, at one point, they were steering me away from the river because they didn't want me to fall in. I they were talking to some other people visiting Amsterdam by this like massive hairdresser's place where I kind of just slumped to the floor against the wall for a little while.
Oh boy.
From there, at some point, we made it to one final bar, which had this a few couple of steps you had to go down to get into the place.
Oh no.
They actively refused me any more drink because I'd had too much. They kind of sat me in a corner with a Red Bull. That was a mistake. Bear in mind, also earlier today, I had a massive pepperoni pizza before I started drinking.
Oh god.
So I don't know how long we were there because I fell asleep at the table, my face just down. I know at some point my stepdad has, you know how much people have stages of drunk, like tipsy, drunk, wasted, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
My stepdad doesn't have that. He has sober and gone. It's like it's
Classic.
like a switch has been flipped. You know, he was fine the entire time from what I recall and what I've been told. And then we got to this final bar. I was passed out. He has a few final drinks. He's chatting all fine. Then all of a sudden, there. He's just all of a sudden he's almost as bad as I am. He goes up to the toilet, is in there for a while, throws up in it. At which point they decide it is probably time to leave because of that. So they shake me awake. They're helping my stepdad out, my two brothers. I hobble up, head towards the door, open it, and immediately am blasted with a face full of wind and fresh air, which mixes with the alcohol, Red Bull, and pizza within my stomach. And all of a sudden, that's all on the stairs leading, the only entrance leading down
the
into
stairs
the
got a new
bar.
paint job.
Such a lovely color.
Which led to my brother apologizing profusely to the woman behind the bar, who was rather bemused, let's say. They told me to clean it up, but I was so gone, or I kind of really just rolled around in it.
Oh no.
And it was rank, it was full of alcohol, and there was massive whole pieces of pepperoni in it. It was bad.
Oh
Oh my
my.
goodness.
So eventually they just kind of sat me to the side, like leaning me against a wall. My brothers cleaned it up, dragged me and my stepdad out, called a taxi, shoved us in it. Taxi took us back where we hobbled into our room and I passed out until about midnight, where I woke up with hell on earth. And that was my 18th birthday.
A lot more eventful than mine.
Hades, do you have a drunk story?
Oh, a little. Now, I've never been completely drunk. It was more like a little buzz. Me and it was my friend's 21st birthday, and he wanted to do everything. We had a big group, and we'd spent the whole day doing all kinds of crap. Then at night, about 7 o'clock at night, he wanted to go out and go get a drink, like a serious drink. So we're all thinking, okay, where are we gonna go? So then one of our friends recommends this place in town. They call it Fuzzies. It's a taco joint and a bar all in once. So we all go in there, and we didn't eat anything because we had eaten already, and it was just they wanted to drink. So they figure, okay, what are we gonna get? Two of the girls that are with us give us these shit-eating grins. I kid you not, and they go right up. They go right up to the bartender and say, "Get us a fishbowl."
Oh no.
I don't
A
like the sound of
fishbowl.
that. I don't know
It's
what that is,
literally-
but I don't like the sound of it.
It's literally a fishbowl mixed up with just about everything you can think of: cider, beer, whiskey,
Ugh.
throwing a little bit of lemonade in there or something. It was quite a sight, let me tell you. And
Man,
it's
I'm
in a
getting
literal
lost
fishbowl.
about it.
A literal fishbowl.
Oh,
That just sounds
Undereducated.
awful.
I just remember a story
refresh my
regarding
memory.
a fishbowl.
Say what?
Refresh my memory. What's a literal fishbowl?
Like a bowl you would actually keep a fish in.
Okay.
It's
So just a
It's
really
like-
big bowl then.
a really
Really
big
big
bowl, and it had like all these straws out of it. We'd take turns passing it around the table and see who could take the biggest sip.
Oh, you didn't just chug it straight up? Come on,
Oh, no.
man. You're letting us down here.
No, I wasn't quite that adventurous. Quite frankly, if I were to be honest with myself, I only drank about an eighth of it. And there was like 6 people with us. These other two are just like taking big freaking drags of the stuff. And we just kept passing it around and just kept going until it was empty. And it was after all of it's done, I'm a little not drunk, but I feel a little bit of buzz back in my head, and it's a little hard for me to get up. So we all just sat there for a while and started talking, and then all got to the point where one of the girls wanted to get another fishbowl,
Oh god.
and and the rest of the group says, "Nope, we're leaving." Freaking drag her out the door, and we start walking back to his place. And I kid you not, my buddy, who's the birthday boy, he could not walk straight. I kid you not. Well, he's literally to the point where he's on one of those sidewalk curbs and just kind of trying to balance himself on there while walking like it's a tight wire. he was having a good time, let me tell you that.
Hey, that's all that matters in the end, I guess.
I mean, it also matters that you don't get alcohol poisoning, but yeah, the fun is the most important part.
Nah, that's just an extra challenge.
It was an interesting time. I've never drinking out of a fishbowl, especially not alcohol in it. And it was, let me tell you, I don't quite remember the whole way back to his house, let me tell you. Next thing I remember, I was on his couch, kind of laid out on my back. So yeah, that's my fun adventure.
Oh my
You say
goodness.
you say you've never downed a fishbowl. Unfortunately, I have.
Oh god.
Oh, you
Oh.
legend.
Well, I can count all the times I've actually been. I want to point out to the readers that I don't do this often. I can count all the times I've actually been drunk on all 10 digits. Probably all 10 digits, exactly. But probably a fair few of those were within the first week of university. where we were all meeting,
Oh,
everyone we were sharing kitchens with for the first time, and we're going out constantly. Like I mentioned to you guys earlier, we went out the second worst time I've ever been drunk. I went out to a nightclub, and a couple of the girls had to take me back, and I was arguing with them the whole way which way the university was.
No, it's that way. But it's right there. No, it's that way.
Pretty much. And then when we finally get there, like, oh, you were right.
Oh.
The UK is where all the fun is, isn't it, Tom?
There are nightclubs galore right by Anglia Ruskin, which is where I am.
Oh,
in
man.
Cambridge.
Man, I'm in a small town in the middle of nowhere. You gotta drive like 45
Another
minutes.
Another thing we did that week was 2 kitchens got together and did an icebreaker card game. I can't remember what the card game was, but we passed a deck of cards around. You put them in the middle. Each card had certain effects.
Ring of
Most
Fire?
of them involving alcohol in some way. Kings, which there are only 4 of, whenever you got a king, you had to tip your entire drink into an initially empty fishbowl.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I played that too.
just
And bear in mind, our drinks were entirely either JD and Coke. Well, actually, no, it was JD and Coke, vodka and Coke, and this weird tropical exotic stuff. That was
Oh.
quite nice. So, I believe I got my friend Anna got the first king. She dipped her entire drink in there and refilled. I got the second. Someone else got the third. I'm not sure who. The game went on for a while. We did a few things, and then guess who got the final king?
You.
Oof.
Yes, me. So in my drink I go, everyone was saying that I couldn't do it all in one, so I did it all in one.
Oh God.
Oh.
Oh.
It
Oh,
was
no.
Coca-Cola, vodka, Jack Daniel, and that tropical stuff.
Oh God.
Oh my
It tasted-
god. Your
The
poor
only thing
liver.
that tasted worse was a different time we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and with a rando card, which none of us picked, and if the Khazar picked it, we had to down a shot of pure vodka. I also did that in one. Which I will never do again because that actually tasted like poison.
Oh, you're not supposed to taste it. You're just
Do
supposed
a
to let it
lot
go
of
down.
your drunk stories start with Cards Against Humanity?
Well, 3.
all.
3.
So how many times I got drunk? First time on holiday to Turkey, which was a crap holiday. Not a very nice place.
Second time.
Christmas Eve, another Christmas Eve, 2 Cards Against Humanity, then the Welcome Week, the card game with the Kings, going out, and then one other time. This Christmas, Amsterdam. Yeah, exactly 10 times.
Yeah.
Told you.
Impressive.
And
And I
Neff, do you have one?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, boy, let's hear it.
Let's hear it, Neff. Come on.
Unfortunately.
Okay. To be fair, this was a college or university level party, so it's a good assumption alcohol is involved.
I
Yep.
know this very well.
And this was, let's see if I can remember it correctly. I guess they made something like alcoholic punch, I think it was.
Oh, yeah?
Spiked punch, yeah.
Yep, and I'll admit I had like 5 cups. Even though I swore it was 2. And there were about 20 or so people there, and by the time that, I decided to leave, they decided to, do the smart thing and get rid of it by pouring it out on the grass, which then killed the grass.
Oh.
Also getting it on 2 people who had passed out on said grass at the same time.
Oh, man.
I asked how much they were about, 6, 8 drinks in. They had arrived.
Well, it's better than ice cold water.
And admittedly, I had had, a drink or two before I arrived at the party as well. But fortunately, I didn't leave with too much of a buzz. I mean, I only got a little bit flippy, but it's just I had a very bad day. So yeah,
I can imagine.
and I would later find out that I had to repay one of my friends to get his car cleaned out. A worst mistake of my life.
You puked in it, didn't you?
I tried not to, but due to the fact that he was a shit driver, he caught.
You keep cutting out, but I can understand where this is going. Shitty driver, drunk person in back? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. And that's why me and my friends walked, because we didn't trust each other with cars at that point.
My brother,
Yeah,
and on
that's
my
a good one.
21st birthday, my brother was the designated driver, so he couldn't get drunk. Now,
My friends who was with me was celebrating their 21st birthday and decided to do a dumb thing and go with 21 shots for his 21st birthday.
Oh god.
Well, that's a great idea. What are you talking about?
that has got to be one of the dumbest ideas I have ever heard in my entire life.
I guess it depends on what it is.
It was actually pretty funny to watch, but later he was,
He paid for it later, probably.
miserable for the next 2 days afterward.
So, I actually have a drunk story, but I wasn't the one who was drunk, and the person who was drunk isn't in this chat. So, I'm going to have to link this to him later so that he knows I was talking about him. Sadis, I am sorry.
Talking about him by his back, man.
It's okay. He tells us all the time because I think he does. I actually don't know. Again, Sadis, I'm sorry in advance, but
He trusted you with full confidence. You're just gonna tell the whole world. Get ready, boys.
It's hilarious. Shut the hell up. And plus, it happened years ago. Anyway, so he and I were in a Skype call, just shooting the wind, talking about whatever. I think we had been playing a game for a while up until that point. I don't remember which game or if we even were playing a game. Again, this was years ago. But after a while, I began to realize that he's acting kind of funny. And so I asked him, Sadis, are you drunk? And he said, well, it took you this long to find out? Apparently he'd been kind of something like that for a while. But anyways, we chatted back and forth for a little while. And eventually he had to get up to go do something. And all I hear from my end is the sound of him putting his headset down, and then a loud crash followed by him shouting, "What the fuck?" So you see, apparently, when he had gotten up, when he had gone to stand up, his chair went with him. But we don't know why, because he's not exactly a big guy. He's fairly fit, at least compared to me he is, and my chairs don't suction cup to my ass. So it wasn't him being bloated and fat causing the chair to hook to him. No, it wasn't that. His arms weren't like hooked into it to make it go because he was operating his keyboard and mouse just before that, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to do that if they were hooked through the armrests. Not enough maneuvering room to be as surprisingly phonetic as he was being. And I just don't know, and so he comes back like 10 seconds later and says, "Man, I don't know what just happened, but the chair just stuck to my ass." The chair went with him, and I'm just back here on my end laughing so goddamn hard.
Maybe he just had a really sweaty ass and it's stuck.
I mean, he wasn't naked, so I doubt it.
Man, the imagery right now is just on point.
I mean, the sad
Thank
part
you.
is I can
I'm in
picture it without.
nightmares.
The sad part is I can actually picture that without cringing at all because this guy's my best friend and he's a gay guy. The amount of lewd remarks we throw back and forth, even though I'm straight, is remarkable. I mean, I will freely admit, if I weren't straight, if I were bi or if I were gay, he and I probably would have hooked up a long ass time ago. But sadly, I'm not. So that's that option slaughtered. But I mean, he's a fantastic guy, funny, and it was, and that was just a fun day in general.
Man, I don't know what my problem is. but I get very. Sorry, carry on.
And I was about to say, you can generally tell that this guy and I are best friends because one time he sent me a picture of himself that had been doctored slightly by, I think it was a web app, and it made him look older than he actually is. He's like in his mid-20s. And the thing made him look like he was in his 50s or 60s or something, wrinkly skin, gray hair. And so the first words out of my mouth when he sent me that picture was like, "Is that you? Because if so, you look like a sad old wrinkly potato." And he said, "That's me." And I said, "Well, then you look like a sad old wrinkly potato." So kind
Well, at
and
least you're
caring.
honest about it.
So kind and caring was his response, which I just said, "It's what I do."
I am just like, so I know the feel.
Yeah.
I'd say I've come to expect that from you.
And of course, he and I play genital jousting sometimes, so.
Oh God.
Yep, you sent me a video of that one time.
Oh, God.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's a game on Steam. Look it
Yeah,
up.
I
You
think-
will
I
be
think
pleased
it-
or horrified,
for
or
itself.
both.
Seriously.
And let me offer rebuttal and say,
Michael,
don't look
speak
it
for
up.
itself.
No, look it up so you can fuck it up the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Blank, you had a story?
You know, I did, but I sure don't remember it now. Although I will say this, after this whole conversation, I think I do need a drink.
You see what you do to us, Tone?
You drive us a drink. I hope you're happy.
Confound this tone shift. He drives me to drink.
This utter bastard.
That was me after writing Switcheroo, though, just the intense desire to drink but having no alcohol in the house.
There was so much self-fucking in that.
Whoa, now. I don't want to know what you were.
I was saying we don't need to know about your personal.
To each their own, but.
Princess
You don't need
Twilight
to know
almost
about
fucked
that.
Pony Twilight. And vice versa. But then the universe imploded, so they didn't get to. Sad face.
No.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then
It was by
Princess Twilight's future queen himself just turned up at the end, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Was I really this demented?
Twilight.
And that is, I think that's a good place to call the drunk discussion. So,
Yeah.
oh my god, that was enlightening.
Of course.
I wouldn't say enlightening. I would say it was something, though.
Shall we fill the last 20 minutes?
Wow.
So we've been going for about a little over 30 minutes at this point, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, because we started 5 minutes later than we were initially planning.
We're going 40 minutes.
Yeah, we're going on 40
in
minutes.
one.
Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Good to know. So, oh, this just got quiet.
Well, we were
It
waiting
did.
for you. You were talking.
Let's say, give us something.
Question:
Well,
how many
you
of you have heard of My Little Investigations by Equestrian Dreamers?
I'm an Ace Attorney fan, so of course I've heard about it.
Yep.
This is the first time I've even heard anything close to it.
Same here.
Objection!
Objection.
Objection! No, wait. I did it wrong. Objection.
Objection.
I know. I'm not a lawyer.
I like that scene.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Turnabout Storm, that one deal.
It's,
My
the
Little
game's
Investigation.
based on...
I think that
My Little Investigations is a MLP fan game by Equestrian Dreamers, complete with full voice acting, mind you. And it's sort of it's basically based around similar notions as the Ace Attorney series, with but it still holds its own identity, though Ace Attorney is definitely the inspiration. It has
The
a lot of
gameplay is actually... the gameplay is actually directly taken from Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. It's more based on the spin-offs than the actual main series.
Yeah, you see, I didn't know that because I've never played any of the Ace Attorney games. My Little Investigations is my closest.
Yeah, Ace Attorney Investigations plays just like My Little Investigations.
Yeah,
most part.
And they only have one case out right now, but they have more in the works, and a case creator is being worked on. So With any luck, once the next big update comes out, we'll have a brand new case and a case creator, so all of the wonderful people who enjoy looking at this thing can go in and be like, yay, now we can make our own cases. And then I can go in and prove just how horrible I am at logic.
Or just horrible in general.
Oof.
Shots
Got
fired!
Make this gruesome pony murder.
That's say I've never played any of the Ace Attorney stuff, but the closest thing I've ever seen to it is the radio, or not radio play, it was an audio drama, Turnabout Storm, that was on
It
YouTube
wasn't
that
an
had,
audio drama, it was an actual full video as well.
well, it was a thing. It was quite a long thing, so I doubt Tone can get through it.
There was an entire several episode thing, each one consuming
5
what would
parts,
be-
and each of them were
Yeah,
like 2 hours or something.
That's actually about the normal length of the actual Ace Attorney case, and it
Yep.
goes about like it with investigation and the trials.
It was actually pretty fun.
And all of it. I found
I
that's
mean-
actually what made me a fan of Ace Attorney, and now I've played several of the games. Currently in the middle of one.
I mean, I might look it over at some point. I've heard plenty about it. I've just never bothered to look it over because I've never been interested in Ace Attorney, frankly. But I might look it over at some point. I mean, I'm not having to read it all myself, so I can just have it running in the background while I'm doing other shit.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the whole point. and like that.
I mean, at the final boss of the third game is your dead girlfriend.
What?
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Wait.
you're.
We're still talking about a lawyer game, right?
Yeah,
It's a Japanese
There's a lot of
lawyer game.
spirit. There's a lot of
Okay, that
spirit
explains it.
channeling involved, and the main antagonist of the third game, the series, Trials and Tribulations, is someone called Dahlia Hawthorne, who, in the first case, it was set in the past, framed Phoenix Wright for a crime. She got proven to be the actual murderer. She got executed, given capital punishment. Years later, she possesses someone who then commits a murder, and yeah, she's. And in the end, you kind of reveal the truth, and it kind of ends up exercising her, and she goes full ghost, and it's all kind of weird.
Well, I'll
Okay,
be.
Japan.
we have necromancy in here.
Also,
Great.
your mentor's a ghost because she gets killed right away.
Oh, Japan.
Japan, we love you so much.
I mean, they made Final Fantasy,
really-
so.
Mm-hmm.
And
I haven't ever played Final Fantasy except for the first one, which I know is nothing compared to the other ones. But
I sent you a video that was basically someone giving a rundown of all the various ones and which ones they thought would be the best place to start.
you sure did.
Yeah, and it too long didn't read is Final Fantasy X would be a good starting point for you, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. I got plenty of games I'm working on right now. I'm still playing Dark Souls 3. Like I beat it on my main character, but there's so many things I missed. I'm getting all my side characters.
And of course, at some point, I want you to get Final Fantasy XIV so I can have more people to play that with other than me.
Wait, that's a co-op thing?
Final Fantasy XIV, dude, it's an MMO.
Oh,
I mean, it
Well,
has a monthly subscription thing you gotta pay, but I mean, I think it's worth
Ew.
it. It's a good game.
Yeah.
how much
I've
is the?
been, I've been playing the crap out of Dark Souls 3 the last week, and I'll tell you,
PC or PS4?
every time, what?
PC or PS4?
Xbox.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been, and now I'm kind of stuck again, and I'm really starting to get a little mad at it.
Where are you stuck at?
The let's see, what do you call it? The Ethereal Dancer or whatever.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Dancer of the
The
Boreal
Dancer. I'm about to say I kill Aldrich, and then it just kind of teleports me to this place out of.
Yeah.
Aldrich is not the one who teleports you to the Dancer of the
No,
Boreal Valley.
Tone. It's so it's not a matter of going through it that way. It's the last of the 3 main bosses you kill.
The last of
Because for
the
me,
Lords of Cinder, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I
for me
did
it
that.
was
Aldrich was
Aldrich
just
too.
the third one that I killed, and then so I get teleported there. It tells me to put this thing near the thing, and when I do the thing,
You didn't use
the
bonfire first, did
There's a lot of things.
I didn't think there was gonna be another boss to jump in there. I did get my souls back.
man, I homeward boned out the moment he spawned in. I was like, nope. Not dealing with this right now.
I'm pretty sure the
I'm just-
Dancer is a she.
I don't care. She's a bitch.
Frank,
I think I cheesed that boss fight so hard. I had a pyromancy build, so I just used the black fire orb because that thing is weak as balls against dark energy. Nuked it from afar.
Oh my god.
So yeah, pro tip: if you need to kill it real fast, anything that's dark.
Anything that's dark. Okay. I can manage that, but dear God, she didn't seem as that hard at first. Then she pulls out a second sword, and it's just ugh.
And then spinning.
Oh God,
spin for days.
Praise the spun.
spin for days.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I will say, I really.
Oh.
No, wait, no, I shouldn't talk about that right now because virgin ears. Okay.
Virgin years. Is that
I appreciate that. I am wholly against spoilers.
for
I
Dark
feel like-
Souls or is that for reading?
Dark Souls. Dark Souls. I was about to
Okay.
mention one of the bosses you have not gotten to yet.
Yeah.
A boss you may
true.
not actually have access to. What version of the game did you get? Normal or was it the Fire Phase edition?
Normal.
Oh, okay. Well, then the boss I was going to mention you wouldn't have access to anyway.
Let's save it anyways, just in case it gets along to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no
Oh,
point.
speaking of which, though,
Huh?
did you guys hear about the Dark Souls remaster coming out? I think it's coming out in a couple months.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about
Oh,
that.
I
I'm
want
so
it so
pumped.
bad.
Yeah, I'll be
I'm getting on the
invested.
Xbox and the PlayStation.
I'll be
Gonna be so ready for it.
I'll be getting on the PlayStation because that's the only console I have of the current generation. I have an Xbox 360, but I don't use it anymore. None of the shit I want is on it.
Did you play the first Dark
That's
Souls?
the one with the-
I played the
Xbox
first.
for me.
I played the first Dark Souls on my PS3, and I beat it after a long fucking time. And then I played Bloodborne, and I beat that twice.
Mm-hmm.
And both times I was actually more or less on my own. And then I, of course, more recently beat Dark Souls 3 plus all of its DLC.
You never played 2?
I'm working on 2
Oh,
right
he's starting
now.
it.
Yeah, I'm working on
Which
2 right
reminds
now.
me, keep an eye on that soul count so I can hop in at some point.
I'm
I've got a
like
fun
I'm
character.
like at a something 100,000.
Okay. Man, I feel like we really went on a tangent with this.
Yeah, we
But,
did.
Tom and Neff have been really quiet. Anything you guys want to talk about, feel free.
I'm sorry, we kind of just dropped you.
Yeah, I've only played the first Dark Souls up to a point, and then I kind of stopped. It's not really my thing.
Oh,
What about you, Neff? Neff.
Hello. I think Neff died.
Maybe they're absent.
Perhaps.
Yep,
Uh-oh.
Neff's dead.
Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
You will be
killed
missed.
Neff.
Did you hear what we asked you, Neff?
No, really wasn't paying too much attention.
We just asked you. If you've played any Dark Souls game, but I think that answers that.
Not really.
Well, I can understand people wanting to stay away from it because it does tend to
It has
get frustrating.
It has a learning curve.
Well, I was going to say it just gets frustrating.
Well, I mean, once you figure it out, it actually stops being frustrating. For me, at least, it stopped being frustrating once it sort of clicked, because I realized, oh shit, that's why I keep dying. I'm fucking up. It's not that the game's unfair. I'm just horrible at it. Well,
Wait, have you fought Medir yet?
I have not.
Because I'm called bull on that statement right there.
Most of the time, it's fair. It can get unfair, though. Like Dark Souls 1, the curse status ailment. Fuck that so hard.
Basilisk.
No,
Get
just
him.
don't get cursed.
In Dark Souls 1, you get cursed,
Yeah.
you die, you can't rehuman, and your max HP is cut in half until you find a way to reverse the curse. And the only way to reverse a curse from the first place you can get cursed is a really fucking long run away.
Man, I have not been cursed once in Dark Souls. I see all these like stone statues all over the place. Like, look at these losers. Not me.
Yeah, you just run into a big group of basilisks and it's like, hey, it's nothing.
Because like they got really big windups, so you just gotta like dodge out of the way. Just either
Well,
with
yeah,
your
but yeah, well,
plus
if
fun
you don't,
claymore.
well, yes, but if you don't realize that's what curse does until it hits you.
Well, I saw a meter filling up on the bottom of my screen with a skull next to it. I figure I should probably get out of there pretty fast.
I kind of didn't notice that because I have horrible perception, and I was more focused on just trying to kill the creepy lizard things with the giant eyes. Although, interestingly enough, those aren't actually their eyes.
Nope.
Their eyes are actually really tiny.
Yep.
Like ladybugs and orcas.
Something, I don't know.
I don't know. They're so creepy
Yeah.
and annoying.
Yeah, they are.
There we go, again on a tangent.
Or should I say, other hoof? I've given my life, basically hours of my life away just to the Elder Scrolls series.
The Elder
Ooh,
Scrolls.
that's a good one.
I've
I mean, I
completed Skyrim, but I've never completed.
I played
any of the others.
Skyrim, but I've never played any of the others.
I've played
I've always
all
been
of them,
involved.
but I've only ever beaten Oblivion and Skyrim. I got pretty far in Morrowind relatively recently, but Morrowind hasn't aged well. I will say that. A lot of people are going to try and give me flack for that if any Elder Scrolls fans watch this, but for one thing, say what you want about the competence of the calculations and the dice rolls and whatnot. If I swing my sword and I see it go through my enemy's face, I expect there to be a spray of blood and their nose flying off, not a whoosh sound saying, "Hey, you missed." Bullshit, I cut that fucker's nose off. And I,
Whoosh.
yeah, and I also do not like how they handled spell casting. I love the variety of the spells, but the way you have to go about casting the spells is ludicrously obnoxious. Put away your weapon, raise your hands with a totally different hotkey, cast a spell, put away your hands, pull your weapon back out. I hated that. I hated that so much.
Yeah.
Very
You could
inconvenient.
craft your own spells, couldn't you?
You can dual wield with spells easily enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, eventually, it became a lot more tolerable once I got some mods that fixed those particular issues. For one thing, now whenever I swing a sword, I actually hit what I'm attacking. It goes the same for me too. So combat is very brutal and very short-lived. You go and you hit someone 3 times, they drop dead. Same goes for you. So combat was always a somewhat tactical thing. My main character for the longest of times was a red mage type guy, where he went in with a sword and a lot of magic and light to medium armor, and just a jack of all trades, but a master of nothing really. And I ran in, and I'd oftentimes cast a fuck ton of shield spells before I attacked anything. It's like, okay, magic shield, melee shield, invisibility. Let's see here. Let's drink a few elemental resistance potions. Anything else? A jump spell so that I can jump the hell out of there if I need to. Okay, let's do this.
And then you die.
Just get high on everything.
Well, no, but I mean, I do really enjoy Morrowind's variety of magic and how useful a lot of it can be. Even the utility stuff, like just a jumping spell, can be really useful in some of the dungeons.
That good Icarus spell?
Mm-hmm.
I never played Morrowind. I never played Morrowind, though I did play Oblivion up to a point, though I kind of stopped when my character got vampirism. He got turned into a vampire. I searched up the way to solve it, which was to get all these like great soul stones or whatever, which were only a set amount in the game. You collect all of them and give it to some old woman. And honestly, that was just a pain in the ass because
I was able to complete that whole quest in one sitting. It's not actually that hard because, believe it or not, if you're high enough level, fair enough. When I wound up doing that quest, I was like level 20 something because alchemy is how you level up. Just pick every single thing you find and make potions out of it, and then sell those potions. Your alchemy skill will be 100 while everything else is 40.
Yeah, I wasn't actually that higher level when that happened. I'd done some quest where I went to a cave and there were vampires, and I didn't know that the disease I caught was vampirism because it had some weird name until I got turned to a vampire.
More often than not, I've had to make different characters to do different things, and one of my favorite things to do to utterly troll my character is in Skyrim just to send my character to Redwater Den and purposely make them a vampire. And then I just start cave I find great sword ready just to start going batshit insane lumberjack on anything in the way.
I like that terminology.
Yeah, I've always been more.
I make my character a werewolf, so I don't have to worry about vampirism.
Oh yeah, werewolf stuff is good, especially if you get that Ring of Hercene.
Yep.
Werewolf transformation.
I'm kind of disappointed in one particular aspect of werewolf stuff in Skyrim, and that is that when you become a werewolf through any means, it becomes impossible for you, or rather, it doesn't incorporate moon phases into your transformation. Either you do it once a day or whenever the fuck you want, but it's not something that just happens. And I actually really like mods that make it so that turning into a werewolf can and will happen on nights of the full moon, and so you actually have to pay attention to that if you don't want to get an enormous fuck off bounty on your head.
Yeah, that was one aspect of it that I was a little disappointed in, but you can't.
I think they actually had that in Morrowind's Blood Moon expansion, but I don't know for sure.
Right.
I don't know.
Which
I
moon
feel
are we,
like it was a good call on their part, making it a daily power.
which moon are we talking about here? Are we talking about Maser or Secunda?
The red one.
Ooh.
Ah,
I forget that. I know the significance of the two moons, especially to the Khajiit.
Maser is the red moon, while Secunda is the smaller and more Earth-like moon.
Right. So Master is the moon that and of course, depending on the phases, you get like 18 different subbreeds of Khajiit, which is why I don't think the Elder Scrolls 6 should be set in elsewhere. There's no way. I do not think they'll be able to do that well.
House cats.
Yeah.
I think they had a mod for going to elsewhere once.
Yeah, there is. There's an entire mod that's pretty much an expansion in itself.
Yeah, Oblivion had one, as did Skyrim.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course,
Cool
there's...
beans.
Yeah,
Awesome.
There are more variety of Khajiit in the Elder Scrolls than there is in perhaps, anything else. I mean, they really overdid it when they went to make the Khajiits.
It's why the Khajiit are
House
probably
Cats-
my favorite race, aside from the Dunmer. But it's also why I think the development staff at Bethesda should not touch elsewhere in a mainline
Did you
Elder
know
Scrolls
that
game.
actually every single Khajiit in Elder Scrolls Skyrim has a stolen item on them?
Really?
Every single one.
Huh.
Yeah. Every single Khajiit has something they've stolen.
How do you find that out?
It's just I just saw it on the wiki. Like every single Khajiit you search, you'll find a stolen item in their inventory, and in the game's code, it's also there.
Oh man, that's a lot less exciting. I thought you were about to say that you went on like a game-wide genocide.
No,
Just kill all of them.
Basically,
I mean, there's only like 20, so it wouldn't be that hard. You just have to do some looking.
the whole racist thing about all Khajiits being thieves is actually justified because they all are.
Well, they aren't all are, but as a species, they have definitely not done much to dissuade.
Not
that
as a
perception.
species, but literally every single Khajiit in the game that you'll find is a thief.
Basically. Because you go from as small as a house cat to as large as, say, a siege engine. And then
Yeah. The biggest Khajiits, as I understand it, are like the size of a woolly mammoth and act as battle mounts for their leaders.
they are.
Yeah.
Just big kitty.
Yeah.
Even your everyday house cat could be a Khajiit spying on you.
Yeah.
Just so it knows what doesn't know, just so it learns what needs stealing.
Which is why I have a dog.
In Fallout,
I'm about to say, Talon, you better keep an eye on Maya and your
in
stuff.
Fallout 4, you can actually there's a terminal in the game in the Institute you can find where it turns out all the house cats and crows you've been seeing in the game are all synths that are
Yep.
spying for the Institute.
All the crows that you see in the game are
And
what
all
they
the
call
cats
watchers.
too.
I
All
suddenly
the
feel
cats
much more
too,
justified
because
talking about them.
it said in New Vegas by Mr. House that cats are extinct and yet cats are in Fallout 4. It's because the Institute made them to be spies.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel so much more justified.
There's actually cat bodies that you can find in the Institute, and that's how they made them.
Better keep an eye on
Clone
so that
professor.
you're not becoming, a Khajiit spy. You're just waiting to steal your stuff.
Or it could be a synth.
Well,
Though
anyways,
it does mean the Institute revived the cat race since they were extinct before they did that.
kudos to this.
Oh no, guys, what if the Khajiits are all synths?
Oh, God.
And with that sobering thought, I think that's a good enough note for us to end this episode of Jibber Jabber. We've been going for about an hour. So, Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen of the internets, for tuning in. As always, I have been Skajaramas, a.k.a. Tone Shift, the host of Jibber Jabber. Keep listening, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ta-ra.